What's your board? What name's on your board?
Element.
Yeah, are there some more of those here? Did you see on the wall? No?
Santa Claus made it.
Oh, Santa Claus made it. Cool. Do you know who Bing Crosby was?
Yes.
Kids?
Babu.
There you go. Are you into that ilk of music mainly? Or is that just something you've heard? No.
No.
More rock and roll, but you like a little Bing every once in a while.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. All right, thank you very much.
Christmas.
See, you're reading about Rex Allen here.
I don't think I remember this guy.
No?
On a Sex and the City episode, somebody said one of their favorite old-time actors was Bing Crosby.
You don't know any of his music or had never seen any of his movies, right?
Not that I believe so, no.
Okay.
Not that I could remember or recall.
Okay. And how old are you?
I'm 20.
But you know Elvis Presley.
I know Elvis Presley.
You know Marilyn Monroe.
Of course.
You know James Dean.
No, James Dean.
Did you know Bob Hope?
No.
Doesn't ring a bell.
No, Bob Hope.
Do you remember who Rex Allen was?
No, who was
okay.
Rex Allen?
He was a singer and a country cowboy movie star. Same as Roy Rogers and Gene Autry. And so, what brought you to Wilcox initially?
Rex Allen.
Oh, because you wanted to be a part of this?
Yeah.
Okay, so you had heard about it, or?
I've been a fan of his since I was probably 9 years old. I have almost 400 of his recorded songs.
Oh my gosh.
And I have a photo album that's about 3 inches thick that are 8 by 10s of him. About half of them are signed.
How long have you been a skateboarder yourself?
My whole life. You know, I've grown up here in Simi Valley. I'm 41, and I remember taking a skateboard to show and tell in kindergarten, and the teacher got mad and said, "Don't ever bring that back here again." And I think maybe that's why it got me going right there.
I think Bing moved down to LA in the late 20s, and he walked across the street and went to the university over there.
Did he graduate from the university
He
here?
didn't graduate, no. Rumor has it he was booted out of the university when he threw a piano out of the second-story ad building. So he never did receive his degree. But
Actually, my dad and mom, when I was a kid, they ran the mortuary. My dad was the undertaker, you know, starting in the late 60s until I was about 15, and then he went to night school and became a lawyer. So I actually grew up in what is the Cultural Arts Center. In Simi Valley, there's a Cultural Arts Center. It was a mortuary back in the 70s, and I grew up in the basement.
It had been a saloon most of the time from the time it was constructed in 1880. And it was an empty building when Rex wanted to purchase it to put a museum in. But he wanted an old historic building here in Wilcox because he was born and raised here, and his heart was always here. He always loved it. He always made a point of being proud of the fact that he was from Wilcox.
There are people who've been coming here for years. Some people started coming here with their children, and then subsequently come here with their grandchildren. Their children have grown.
well, the house was built in 1917. It was built by Bing's dad, and the whole family moved over from Tacoma. There was 9 kids in the family here. Well, 7 kids and then the parents, so 9 people lived in the house.
This is the one that set the world record. It's in the Guinness Book of World Records in 1977 for the fastest non-engine propelled human, like downhill, basically gravity motion. And I think the record was 59.27 miles an hour.
This mural was painted by 5 local ladies. We have a lot of good artistic talent in this town, but this was done and it was here when we opened the museum. This was the buggy that Rex used in the series he had in 58 and 59 called The Frontier Doctor. He met and married Bonnie Linder there. She and her twin sister Connie were actually performers on the WLS barn dance when they met.
This big picture here is because he was a spokesman for Ford for a while.
Yeah.
So that's no bull. He's at the Sizzler, Travelers in 1970.
He actually had a gold record with Crying in the Chapel while Elvis was actually still in diapers.
This is supposed to be what Oxnard might have looked like somewhere around the 1950s.
For Anaheim, Azusa, and Cook among
Pies Aster star.
Okay.
This one here, this is another Pies Aster.
Oh.
You see the difference between the Pies Asters. This is a Pies Aster, this is a bat. The bats and the Pies Asters are quite different from each other. Chewy, our leopard gecko. That's Mabel, our Chilean tarantula.
Rex Allen Days brings a lot of people into town too, I guess.
Right, that and Warren Earp Days.
And the what?
Warren Earp Days.
Warren Earp Days. We haven't heard about that yet. What's that?
Warren Earp was the youngest brother of Wyatt Earp.
Uh-huh.
And he was still at home with his mother, I guess, when the OK Corral thing happened.
Oh.
But he worked at a ranch here in Wilcox, and he got in a shootout, and he was killed.
So the Earp brothers didn't have real good luck in gunfights, I guess, huh?
Well, no, but who does?
That's right.
This gives you an example of the kind of things I do here at the museum. You know, I can't go out and buy a rocket engine test panel, so I make something up that looks like it.
Yeah, you did a great job on this fire extinguisher, by the way. That looks really real.
Grandfather caddied for him over at Hayden Country Club.
Oh, really?
In the 30s, I think it was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So did he get any film of it or any pictures or anything, or you're just taking his word for it?
Well, I knew he did. He wouldn't BS anyone about that. Well, he was a politician for a lot of years, so he might
He might have BS'd a little bit, but anyway, he claims he caddied for him.
He caddied for Bing Crosby at
All right.
Hayden Country Club.
When I first started collecting, this other collector, he didn't used to go to the swap meet till like 8 in the morning, and it opened at 6. So I'd get there at 6, I would clean up, get all the way back home. He'd call me at like 11 and he'd say, there wasn't much out there, was there? I'd say, nah, there wasn't much, and I had already been there. I'd come home, got out to brunch with my wife. I was pretty good, pretty good. Since it was a new sport, they tried a million different things. They tried wood, they tried metal, this is metal. They tried plexiglass, fiberglass, plastic. Here's another one that's made out of aluminum. This one was really cool. It's got just 2 wheels, like a Flintstones car, some people say.
He was considered the voice of Disney for over 30 years. He did about 150 different characters, either cartoon voices, voice narrations to the nature series that they did.
What was his most famous song? What was his signature song, so to speak?
Streets of Laredo.
Streets of Laredo.
And he can sing it better than anyone.
You haven't heard me sing it yet, have you?
Yeah, you have a 3-octave voice.
No, I can only get about 2.5.
Rex had a 3-octave voice. He could sing Streets of Laredo like no one else.
Really an interesting place to come for kids. I don't know how they could go anywhere and have a better time than walking through and trying on things and going out into space and going camping and going into mines. It's wonderful. It's a great experience for them.
Well, it's made possible by generous people, and that's how we do it. So it's the donors and the grantors and people coming in, paying admission. They make it happen.